BB851, turn right, heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the first daily recap to the 2019 Paris Airshow. For those wanting a bit of a backstory as to how this recap and future recaps will be laid out, it goes as follows. I'll play stories that I'm yet to cover at the start of this video, so say in the first half to first 3 quarters, and videos previously uploaded today will be put at the end. With so much content going out, this will be a place to get as many updates as you can, and ones that you may have missed, all in the one place. We begin with the Boeing 737 MAX. In a business update that took place in the first few hours, it was made apparent that the 737 MAX is still at the centre of priority for the aircraft manufacturer, with the entire company working to get everything sorted. They added that they want to learn as best as they can from this and in the future never have it occur. While not related to the 737 MAX, it was also made apparent that Boeing expects it to be a rather quiet air show. Kevin McAllister added that the company on a whole is very sorry for ET302 and JT610 and is thinking of all loved ones who lost someone close to them in these incidents. Following these first comments, Boeing began its presentation with slides, something that if you have been watching delivery ceremonies are now very common. On the MCAS, it's been mentioned that the software will actually now have 3 pillars of protection, and with over 280 test flights and enhanced training, Boeing believes they are making good progress. If we move now across to the Boeing 777X, it's been confirmed that the GE9X engine, the engine that's fitted onto the aircraft, is really what's standing in the aircraft's way of getting a first flight up and running. However, a first flight is still expected to take place this year, and potentially after the American summer concludes. Boeing board members further noted that the 2 frames have rolled out perfectly, and all the knowledge that they've been learning from the 737 MAX will indeed be implemented onto their 777X to ensure that it is as safe as possible. As I've said a few times now, I truly believe that once the 737 MAX gets flying again, it'll be incredibly safe to fly on like all future Boeing aircraft. The Air Lease Corporation didn't just order the A321XLR, which was launched today. In fact, they announced a major order for 100 Airbus aircraft. The letter of intent from the Los Angeles-based company saw them order 50 A220-300s, 27 A321XLRs, and finally 23 A321neos. The decision from the company founded in 2010 actually means that they have some 387 aircraft on order from Airbus. However, what should be mentioned is that these aircraft will all eventually be heading to customers from around the globe. Which ones those are, we will have to wait and find out, but it is going to be an exciting period as we get more announcements in the future. The A220s are set to be equipped with Pratt & Whitney engines, and since being transferred over to Airbus, are getting a really good overall response with airlines, specifically though in the American market, a market which Airbus is trying to capture and pounce on before Boeing and Embraer move forward with their own agreement for regional aircraft. Moving along as the day progressed, Boeing announced an order from the GE Capital Aviation Services, with the company announcing it would be exercising the purchase rights to 10 Boeing 737-800 converted freighters, or BCF, to firm orders, while adding a further 15 purchase rights. The SVP and manager of GECAS Cargo said, "Our leasing customers are very pleased with the versatility and reliability of these freighters. It's enabling operators to replace aging freighters and meet the rapidly growing express cargo market." While the Senior Vice President of Commercial Sales and Marketing for Boeing said, GECAS has a great pulse on the leading market and what air freight operators are looking for in their cargo fleet. It is an honour to have GECAS place 3 orders for the 737-800 BCF in as many years. We are excited to expand our partnership with GECAS, and we look forward to delivering more converted freighters to support their customers. On top of the Air Lease Corporation's orders, Airbus has also won over orders from MEA, or Middle East Airlines, for their brand new A321XLR. The airline has signed a firm order for 4, and has seen them become the launch customer for the type. This is as the deal was agreed to before Air Lease Corporation. MEA now actually have 15 A321neo family of aircraft on order, with the airline eventually going to operate 11 of the A321neos alongside 4 A321XLRs. The airline expects to welcome their first A321neo in 2020, and they'll be flying the XLR to Africa and also Asia. In an airshow which is expected to be dominated by Airbus, we've had our first major announcement with the highly anticipated and also expected A321XLR launching. The aircraft, which holds an extended range to that of the A321LR, has over the past few months received a lot of interest from airlines across the globe. The A321XLR will bring a lot of value to airlines, with 30% lower fuel burn per seat than the previous generation competitor aircraft, and with an entry into service slated for 2023, which is 2 years earlier than what is expected for the Boeing NMA. The extra long range, or XLR, will hold a range of 4,700 nautical miles. This is up some 15% from the A321LR, an aircraft that many were not sure how could actually be improved for customers. The added range will be achieved through a new permanent rear centre tank, or RCT, which will be for more fuel volume. Airbus, in addition, has modified the landing gear and increased the maximum takeoff weight, MTOW, to now be 101 metric tonnes. The XLR's additional rear centre tank will be optimised to hold more fuel than that of the previous additional centre tanks did, and this will also be taking up a lot less space in the cargo hold. You might know what that means, but if you don't, it does indeed suggest that there'll be additional volume for cargo and baggage on these long-range routes, and you'll most definitely need it when taking a look at just how far this airliner can fly. The A321XLR can fly from the likes of Sydney to Tokyo, Auckland to Hawaii, New York to Rome, Houston to Reykjavik, and the list goes on. With the brand new airspace cabin, the A321XLR will likely seat 180 to 220 in a typical two-class layout. The A321XLR is also being labelled as a low-risk option for airlines, with the type offering really a good range, low fuel burn, and emissions. The Air Lease Corporation have ordered a total of 27 A321XLRs, with also, I should mention, 23 A321neos on order. This is one of those things that you're probably going to expect, as these 27 A321XLRs will eventually be leased to customers, but at this stage we don't know who. However, as per a report by Reuters, apparently the A321XLR has already secured a whopping 200 orders. This time the focus lies on the Virgin Atlantic A330neo. This was an order that was actually expected by many, however it's certainly great to see it finally confirmed today. The airshow so far has been dominated by Airbus, with the aircraft manufacturer already securing an order for the A220, A321XLR and A321. The order though right now, as mentioned, comes from Virgin Atlantic and is for the A330-900neo, the biggest and second variant to the series that is directly replacing the older A330. The A330neo is a re-engined option, and after a very quiet start has very quickly and recently established its place within the aviation industry. So the order today is actually for 14 of the -900s, and these A330-900s will be replacing their current and older A330s. Deliveries are set to commence from September of 2021, and sadly this is 2 months after my visa for the UK actually expires. Deliveries are set to conclude some 3 years later in 2024. The decision to take on board the A330neos will result in Virgin Atlantic undertaking one of their biggest fleet evolutions in their history. The A330neo is just one of the many types being added over the following years, and is also among others being removed. This includes the Airbus A340 and Boeing 747, which will all be going very shortly, while they will be welcoming on the A350-1000. The decision to welcome on the A330neo to some was odd, considering they already fly the Boeing 787, the type that directly competes with the A330neo. However, Virgin Atlantic shed more light on the decision as to why they've opted for the type. The decision came because the A330neos will be replacing their A330s on a direct basis. While they had their problems with the Trent 1000s on the 787s, they have indeed opted for the Trent 7000 on their A330neos, as they claim they've had no real issues and they're incredibly confident in using it. Virgin Atlantic is set to also be launching a new interior with their A330neos, and adds that the type will be operating not just out of London in the future. Once again, this is not a huge surprise, but further adds clarity to this order. The A330neo has reduced fuel consumptions by 25% per seat over its past generation of aircraft, a benefit that for many carriers has made choosing and upgrading to this aircraft very easy. We begin with a focus on Boeing following their business update that just took place. The update saw a number of key board members speak to the media about their aircraft. However, what we learned is that the Boeing NMA, dubbed to be the 797, will not be launching at the 2019 Paris Airshow. While this certainly is not a shock to me and many others, following the 737 MAX incidents and also various delays, it's still probably not the best news to begin with. Airbus looks now almost set to launch their A321XLR, and according to Reuters, they've already penciled in orders for the type. In fact, there's talk of a whopping 200 already secured that'll no doubt be announced throughout this airshow. This is the aircraft that's expected to directly compete with the Boeing NMA and will help replace the 757s, a type that's been in need of a replacement for some time now. Kevin McAllister has said that Boeing in the future will look to work on the business case for the NMA. This is something I've actually covered a few times here on the channel, but put very simply, the business case is where board members will better understand whether or not it is a feasible business decision to launch the NMA. Last year, it was widely reported that the NMA would be getting a 2019 launch, and me included, believed a Paris Airshow launch would make complete sense. However, late last year, it was further made apparent that the type would indeed be delayed. While no new date was given last year, it was certainly not looking likely a 2019 Paris launch would be completed, and now we have that confirmation. However, we did still have hope that a 2019 launch was going to eventually occur. Eventually, though, that was also confirmed to not be occurring, following new comments made that a 2021 would be more likely. However, time will only tell on that front, and whether or not the Farnborough Airshow will become the perfect time for Boeing. What we do know at the time is that Boeing is still expecting the aircraft to enter into service in 2025, although this has been widely doubted following ET302. So what will the variants look like for the Boeing 797 or NMA? Well, there's likely going to be two variants at this stage, but reports from the General Electric board members indicate that the NMA 7X will be the first to the market, with the NMA 6X being the second. The NMA-7X is expected to be the same type of size as the 767-300, which is extremely interesting, considering thanks to prior renderings of the type, it looked a lot smaller. However, what's even more intriguing, as per the air current, is that the type will only have one sole engine supplier.